I'm Fatima from Telesure. I'm an HR business partner and I'm responsible for the regions. Our head office is based in Johannesburg. We have approximately 3,300 staff, and we have regional offices in PE, East London, Durban and Cape Town, and my portfolio is then the regional offices.
Dalila Dasnems, HR manager at Capita.
My name is Ruth Manning Dirts. I work for Takealot as the talent specialist.
My name is Nikki Ferreira. I'm the Associate Director for Human Resources for iPrio. I started my career in HR straight after university, so I studied industrial psychology at Stellenbosch and then ventured over to the UK and got onto a graduate scheme within the UK.
I'm quite new to HR. I started out about 4 years ago, but it was fueled by my passion for people. I used to be a trainer abroad and realized that there's so much more to this, which is why I got into HR and now into talent, which I absolutely love.
I started working for a company called Emmanuel's, and started right at the bottom. Started as a recruiter and got promoted quite quickly into an account manager position. Started looking after a small contact centre in Bellville, of all places. And within a year, we managed to take on an account exclusively. And I started with one temp there. So it was really, really quite a successful takeover on Emmanuel's part. And yeah, was with Emmanuel's for about 7 years. And then did one or two other small positions in between where I kind of grew in the HR space.
Prior to this, I was in retail for about 5 years, and before that I was with KFC. I worked in sand mining, so I've been around. How I got into HR was studied or enrolled for first year BREC, a straight course to Chartered Accounting at Stellenbosch. And in your first year, it's compulsory to do industrial psychology, and that's where the HR bug bit me. So I changed over, and I'm now an HR generalist. A nice thing for us at the moment is we were into a transition, a change in CEO, and our current CEO was previously a managing director for our short-term insurance arena. And he started this theme, I'm going to call it theme, of your N-word and making us top class and sort of just breaking the barriers of setting barriers. So making us unstoppable, unconventional, unusual, everything related to un. And the nice thing about it is that we've rolled out road shows across the country. Where he kind of started the snowball, I'm going to call it the snowball effect, where he first took his executive team through all his ideas and his intentions with regards to making Telesure unstoppable, and then he had his executive team had sessions with their general management team, and sort of it filtered all the way down, and him and his team were present in all of those tiers of I'm going to call them road shows, and he had like full-day sessions with every level of management, and then it ended with himself having like an hour and a half to 2 hour session with the staff. And a lot of the focus has changed to open communication. You should feel free to email the CEO directly, despite there being 3,200 staff, and making suggestions and having platforms for just sharing. So for us, we can literally see in the span of the 3-month period how people have shifted their focus from management level as well as staffs, changing the way they're receiving messages, because previously communication, as much as we try as much as possible, we bombard them with emails and SMSs and WhatsApp messages or Facebook and things like that. They were not open, I'm not going to say open, but they were opposed to all of this communication. And now we're seeing that it's sort of like a two-way communication. And so they'll respond directly to an email that was sent from the CEO to maybe their general manager, which they would never have done, just because I think of the effect that this snowball of making Telesure an unstoppable company has had on on the staff. And we have a lot of smaller things, like we have Friends in Need fund. As opposed to having a year-end function, we invest that money into a fund where staff can nominate deserving colleagues going through a difficult time, maybe a single mom who wants to send a child to college. Those kind of things have been retention tools for us, because the message spreads, you know. And if we have top achievers previously, we were not pro re-employing people who've left us. So now we're offering them the option: you're going away to greener pastures. If it doesn't work out, feel free to give us a call and come back. And those kind of things I've seen in the last period have just gone or counted in our favor.
Unless you see the bigger picture, unless you see how your work contributes to the wider organisation, what it's striving to do and what it's striving to achieve, you won't necessarily be feeling valued, or that you're able to contribute, that you can see the bigger picture, that you can see how everybody within the organisation is working towards the same goal, and that you all have a part to play. So that, in terms of engagement, is extremely pivotal, and one of the key aspects, I would say, in terms of being able to engage a workforce and be able to drive high performance. Communication. Ultimately, it's about firstly establishing what the goals of the organisation are, what is the vision, what is it hoping to achieve, and to communicate that across the entire organisation so that every employee knows what they're working to and how their particular role sits within that. And so that ownership is wide and is spread throughout the organisation, is done through conversations with management, is done through regular feedback conversations, is communicating the bigger picture and where the role ultimately fits within the bigger picture.
So the companies that I've been working in have been very much in a start-out sort of phase in terms of HR. And so the questions are a lot about how do we communicate, at what point do we communicate to people, and what does that look like exactly? Who do we get involved? So I think from my perspective, it is as soon as, or even before, you interview someone. So it starts with a job ad. It's about trying to figure out what is that, what does it look like, what will the outputs be, and once they come into the organization, it's about constantly chatting, whether it's a buddy or Sherpa program or buddy system. It's making information available to them. And it's about sort of highlighting the effect that their work has on the organization and how they fit into the bigger picture and into the successes. And even when there aren't any successes, it's about just basically showing someone whatever you do, this is the outcome. So whether it be good or bad, and it's about how do we manage that as well.
In our industry, if you look at the individuals that work in our industry, people move quite freely and quite quickly for the smallest things. So to hold on to individuals in our industry, you have to really tie into their emotions. And I think that if you don't give them a purpose, it's very easy for people to leave. And I think that the reason attrition is so high in our industry is because you can move from one place to another. There's no real, I've bought into my manager. There's often, kind of just, it's around the metrics. This is what we need to achieve. And there's little around relationships. Then you think, you throw a lot of there's the coffee machines and the this and the that, and they're great, but it's all very superficial. So they last, but they last for so long. And I think the person who discovers or finds out how to really go almost a level down to engage with somebody in terms of saying, I'm helping you discover your purpose and I'm helping you create a career, is going to make a lot of money in this industry, because you're going to find a way of getting people to stay on board for a lot longer. So this is where, for me, your engagement strategy becomes so important, because it has to be underpinned by your values, and you have to have your entire workforce, especially in an Asian population that is so big, if you look at some of our big competitors, and tie them into your values, So in terms of the question, I think that, you know, we've managed to find certain ways of engaging our people that is not just about the superficial stuff. It's about saying, I'm going to have a conversation with you, I'm putting the metrics aside, and I'm having a relationship with you, and I want to really better this relationship and help you grow in your career. We do a number of feedback processes with our current employees. Each of our divisions, operational divisions, they have their own employee forums, and we do monthly employee forums where the head of that department actually goes and does a kind of a 360-degree discussion with the employees. They get an opportunity to really raise any kind of concerns, but it's more like we want to see the change happen. I think it's important for our employees to see things, not just say, they don't want to just hear things. They want to actually see things in action, and I believe that we've gotten this right.
Again, coming from a space where, no HR to HR, and so it's been very slow in, do we need this? Why do we need it? Do we need it right now? What do we need to get right first? And for where we have implemented it, obviously the initial reaction is, we have all these issues and this is the problem. But I think, like with anything, you do a basic SWOT, you look at the feedback, and you try and get quick wins for yourself as a team or as a division, as a business, and you try and just slowly but surely, realistically try and solve for that, so that employees can also see that you are doing something about it. I don't think that you need to look at everything and try and solve everything immediately, because you might not have capacity or access to the information to be able to solve for that. So an approach of trying to identify what are the quick wins and what are the ones that are going to be the most effective for the space that I'm in at the moment.
So we do have the general, it's an email address that we use. We have a platform that we previously named Phineas, where staff can make suggestions. If your suggestion is implemented, there's a monetary incentive, a monetary reward. We have what we call Teleshows Got Talent, where managers and or colleagues can nominate an employee that they feel is a top performer, or goes out of their way to make it easy for everybody else in the business, or has just gone way beyond the normal call of business. So you can nominate those people, and then every quarter the entire company votes for about 10 of these people, and they get a 10,000 Rand, and then from those 10, the whole company votes again for, previously it was called something like Rainmaker, where that person who gets the most votes for the year gets 100,000 Rand. So we up the incentive, so we've got that. And then we have currently, last 2 weeks ago, it's that time of year where we do our engagement survey, which is very formal. So every staff member gets an email with a link. It's anonymous, and then there's a range of questions they answer.
I suppose in terms of employee feedback, most organisations will adopt an annual survey. This is probably more of a traditional stance in terms of gathering employee feedback and identifying what the main trends are, where are the big ticket items you need to focus on as an organisation. In terms of my personal preference and what I've seen in other organisations is moving to more of regular feedback, more informally, what is called pulse checks, so that you would, instead of doing a big annual survey once a year where the information is at one point in time, becomes pretty much out of date once the survey is filled out, you move into a more an operating rhythm where feedback is part of ongoing conversations. So you as a manager would engage with your workforce. Perhaps you would set on a quarterly basis just to do pulse checks in terms of key questions that you value as an organisation, and you move into that conversation where managers take the information, sit down, open up a conversation. That then brings to light what people are feeling in the moment, what are their current issues. You would look to understand what that feedback is, do problem solving, move to action immediately, and that cycle almost continues. And I find that a more natural, a more proactive, progressive way of listening, understanding, and ultimately taking action. And it's more ongoing, in the moment, and embedded into an organisation's actual operating rhythm, opposed to one big let's stand up at the end of the year and look how we've done and identify an action plan to build on for the next year, and that could become quite outdated quite quickly. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.